This alert, it was a nail biter, but the last hour rally pushed the Dow to an 8-day winning streak by just 6 points there. But it was quite the swing. You know, at about 3 p.m. Eastern time, we were down 30, 35 points and then suddenly crawling back in the last hour.
Well, the Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 are up 5% for the year.
Is this only the beginning of the 2011 bull run, or are we getting ahead of ourselves? We bring in the bulls and bears, Gary Kalpom, Monica Mehta, and Liz McDonald. Gary, you tend to be cautious sometimes. Are you now? I mean, you look at some great moves over the past 6 months. Does that continue?
Well, let me just say this. There's a couple areas I absolutely love. Retail and growth stocks really started to kick into gear in the last couple of weeks when oil prices started coming down. But the one thing I am watching closely, and I always want to watch what can go wrong when things are good. If you look at the emerging markets right now, if you look at China, if you look at India and Brazil in these areas, they're not only breaking down, but I'm seeing some bear market action there. I am hoping that our market doesn't join in that ugly party, but so far so good.
But Monica, isn't our market based on the retail figures, on selling things, and the fact that in addition to selling things, the overall economy, with the exception of the unemployment figures, seems to be improving?
The overall economy is improving depending on the stats that you're looking at. I think there's still a good number of people, over 80% of the people who lost jobs still haven't gotten their jobs back.
I said with the exception of unemployment, though. Everything else, the sales look pretty good.
Manufacturing?
Well, we're relying on the consumers to keep spending, and I think it's too early to say that the performance we saw in the fourth quarter is going to continue onwards.
Would you buy those stocks here? Are you have your clients heavily invested?
You know, I'm a bit of a trading couch potato. I'm not jumping in and out of things like other people you have on the show. And for people like me, I think your best bet is getting into undervalued, large caps, mid caps that have good fundamentals, and, you know, sit it out and look in the long run, and you'll be fine.
And EMAC, the answer is?
Well, I don't have the answer, but I do. I'm just a journalist, but I do talk to guys on Wall Street that I've talked to for a couple of decades, and these are veteran tape watchers, and they're seeing, you guys have been reporting this. This feels like a tired bull. There are a lot of head-scratching bulls down on Wall Street saying, wait a second, and I think Gary Kay has it right. They're talking about the same weaknesses they're seeing, bearish plays in mostly China they're talking about. But it's a story of dueling narratives. If you believe the compelling narrative that we are in a worldwide economic boom, that we've got 3 billion new consumers coming online over the next decade or so, they're talking about the basic materials, the industrials, the energy sectors, or being the leaders in this market. That's a bullish story. That's a compelling narrative that they're seeing, that we have more consumers coming on stream in emerging markets around the world.
Gary Kalpom, don't fight the tape.
Yeah, look, the most important thing you need to know, I follow 200 sectors in the market, and a day like today where I think Ralph Lauren's up $10, that wakes me up to tell me that retail is in good shape. I love seeing that. On the other end, though, I'm seeing China and Brazil breaking down. That worries me because in the past, in the study of bull and bear markets, when emerging markets and some of these other markets start to break, usually we follow suit. So I have both eyes peeled to see if that occurs.
Yeah.
So far it hasn't. Today was another day where the market could have sold off and it didn't.
And the reason why they're saying it feels like an exhausted bull is because the volume is so stretched thin. It's been pretty low volume, right, gang? So they're saying, and they're saying that we're seeing levels last seen since Bear Stearns Friday in the market. They're waiting for a possible downdraft of 5%.
And markets don't tend to move in one direction for an extended period of time without an interruption. So I don't think that this is out of the question.
Well, why I didn't buy Whole Foods at 14, I don't know.
Starbucks at 8.
Oh, man, you can see it trading after hours up to 58 right now. Thanks, Bulls.